Welcome, everybody, to the Fandom Outpost, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Halloween, everybody.
If you guys want to do a watch along with us, all you have to do is when we tell you to start it, go ahead and start it at home. We're going to talk about Halloween and the subsequent sequels and maybe some other little tidbits of commentary, I would say. And hopefully this could be the first of many if it works for us. So this is an experiment for us, and we hope that you take the time to enjoy it with us. Right, gentlemen?
That is correct.
Give it a shot.
As always, I am 1/3 your host. I am Mark.
I am Jim.
And I'm Bob. Hi, everybody.
And this is Halloween. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to talk about it. So just hit play on any recorder that you got your copy of. We're going to do ours right now. And hopefully you can watch along with us.
Away we go.
There we go.
And it started.
All right. So we got a black screen. No.
Yeah. Compass International Pictures release.
That logo is on screen as we speak.
So we are going to be talking over it, folks, just so if you guys are watching it, it's not really meant to be like, oh, let's just all be sit here and quiet, pay attention, because we're going to talk about it. It's interesting that only says Donald Pleasance. Like no Jamie Lee Curtis, you know what I mean?
So you got
that's
top
kind of
billing on the
interesting.
DVD, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of funny. She wasn't a household name yet, though, right? Jamie Lee Curtis
Any
wasn't?
kind of name.
Right.
Yeah.
No. What did she do? She had a couple episodes of TV, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So this was her big breakthrough.
Rockford.
Oh, yeah. Introducing. There we go. Jamie Lee Curtis as Lori.
Rockford Files and Columbo, I think she was in. I remember seeing some clips.
Columbo.
Some bit parts.
Just one more thing.
What?
I said just one more thing. Yeah.
So Carpenter liked to use a lot of directors, and we did a Michael Mann special. He uses the same stock actors in his movies. They turn up over and over and over again. Carpenter's the same way. He does a couple with like a major star, and sometimes like Jamie Lee Curtis did the voiceover in Escape from New York as the computer sound in the hallway and stuff. So he does find work for all the other people.
Also in The Fog.
That's right. That's right. So, that's right. He did his own music.
Yeah.
That was part of the deal.
Yeah,
That was part of the
Yeah,
deal.
it was
Okay.
part of the deal. He wanted top billing above
above the
title,
name. Yep.
name above
Yeah.
the title. He wanted-
So, if you look at Carpenter's work, it always says John Carpenter's and then the title of the movie, even if it's procured from a source like John Carpenter's Vampires. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's not his original material. Haddonfield. Is that a real place?
in New Jersey. That's where Deborah Hill was from, around that
was it?
area, Haddonfield, New Jersey.
1963.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Top secret notes. Don't.
Top secret notes.
A lot has been said about this opening shot, right?
Yep.
It's actually a couple takes, kind of seamlessly edited.
Yeah, if you watch real close, folks, you could see where the edit is, and the most notable one is putting on the mask.
Right.
Right.
So, which it hides it really, really well. But this is so one thing that we say about John Carpenter that we like is a term I use all the time. It's called guerrilla filmmaking. And Jim was just talking about this a little while ago about on a shoestring budget. Like this movie doesn't look like it's an independent film. It looks like it's a big studio film, but it really isn't. I mean, I think it was made for
300.
something ridiculously low.
Yeah. 300 grand.
300 grand, yeah. And then it had a slow build-up run. And once it had this slow build-up run, it kept releasing into more and more theaters. And then it did better and better and better until it became the juggernaut that it was. And although this gets credited as one of the first, if not the first, there's not a lot of gore or splatter
Right.
in this.
Yeah. Very bloodless.
Yep. It's very methodical. It's what we always refer to in the business as a slow burn. Your build-up, once it gets going, it does get going very well.
We tried to build tension with waiting for something to happen.
Right.
And that was kind of the whole gimmick with this. Well, not gimmick, but that was the whole technique with this.
I also love, if you guys are watching at home, the shot where he pulls the knife out of the drawer. It actually goes out of focus for a minute, which probably was just, the fault of them filming at such a close angle. But it lends itself that the viewpoint, of somebody maybe not
That was
paying attention and stuff, what they're doing.
That was Deborah Hill's arm.
Arm.
That's the clown arm.
Clown arm.
Young Michael.
And by the way, I've done extensive cooking in my time. And the knives in Halloween still are larger than anything I've ever used
Like
in my cooking.
14-inch.
Yeah, dude. Like, they're like that big. Nobody uses a knife that big. Maybe if you're carving a turkey. Maybe. But holy shit.
And as they're going through the house and filming, there's like a giant. Isn't there like a giant amount of people kind of
Yeah, they had to move all the furniture.
moving all the furniture to get the camera through and everything? And
As they're moving, this was a Panaglide. Was
Yeah.
only used 3 or 4 times before this. And it cost like 60, 70 grand, I believe, which was quite a bit of the budget.
right.
So yeah, it was kind of new technology, but it made it look, like you said, Mark, above.
Yeah, it made
an
it look like
independent
well
movie.
above. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the shot with the hand reaching for the glove.
Mask.
The mask,
Yeah.
which would have been the first edit in that seamless shot. So you don't notice it, which is really good. And for those of you who've been living under a rock and don't know what Halloween is, it's about a sadistic killer named Michael Myers who 15 years ago murdered his sister and was sent away into, I guess, an insane asylum.
An institution.
The
yes.
institution, to be poked and prodded and dissected psychiatrically. Controversially, there was never an explanation of why he went after young Laurie. They gave that explanation in its sequel.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it was It wasn't originally planned.
I don't
to
think
be
it
a-
was. I like the idea,
family.
but it's okay. For those that don't know, spoiler alert, Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister. And I don't know how he would have known
Subsequent-
that.
If you go down a certain timeline from 2, he's the brother-sister relationship.
But
right?
yeah.
But then there's other timelines where they're not, which is the current trilogy.
Yeah,
They're not related.
I don't know.
The 2018
I'm
trilogy.
going on record right now, folks, that I love Halloween 2. I think it's a travesty that movie wants to get taken out of timeline context. I think it's a great addition to the movie. In fact, it could be treated as one whole movie
Yeah.
if you look at
It
it.
has been said.
And it
yeah,
kind of
right.
was, So, Halloween 2, if you tacked it right up to Halloween 1, it takes place the exact second the first one ended.
Right.
So, and I think 2 is really good. It just changes locations, and he's just trying to finish the job. But to me, I feel that Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 are it. Like, that's it. For
Yeah,
me.
that's his story. That's
his story. They killed off Michael Myers in an explosion. If you don't remember that, part
Really
2.
hard to come back from that.
Yeah, him and Loomis. But for some reason, and we can talk about it later, the whole debacle with part 3,
Yeah.
and then wanting to bring Michael back for part 4 because they wanted him to be a la Jason, basically.
Right.
They wanted to be
Right.
another
I got a
copy of
little bit
Jason,
out of-
even though he came before Jason.
Correct.
But Jason Voorhees from the popular Friday the 13th franchise was so popular that, is it Mustafa Akkad, or
I don't know who made the decision to.
I think it was him, believe it or not, but he was like, Halloween's
Wasn't
not
Car-
going to work.
wasn't Carpenter?
No, Halloween's not going to work without Michael Myers. So I don't think Carpenter directed the sequel either. I think it was a
The
friend
part
of his,
2?
Rick Rosenthal, or something like that.
He wrote it. I think he was kind of cornered into writing that.
Yeah. Well, he filmed some scenes that were added to that from this, but
Yeah.
anyway,
So
sorry.
it's kind of like somehow contractually obligated to write 2 with Deborah Hill, I believe.
One of the things that I always found amazing, especially the Halloween franchise. I'm not a director. I don't get paid for that, but it would seem to me that if you had your baby, and this seems to me that this is a Carpenter baby, that if it was a choice between you doing this or somebody taking it out of your hands and fucking it up, I'd probably do it. You know what I mean? Reluctantly or not, I'd probably do it so I could have control of my
Yeah,
product.
there's a lot of creators that do that. They go ahead and say, all right, well, you're going to make it anyways, but I'm going to be involved with it so you don't totally screw it up. So
One
now
of my favorite shots coming up to the insane asylum when the patients have been let loose. That one dude he's like moving around like this.
What? Where? You got to point that one out.
Right there. This guy. He's like one of these guys.
Man, we could barely see that.
I
That's
know,
funny.
It may have been in the earlier shot, but he's just kind of like standing there and he kind of moves weird. It's like kind of creepy.
Yeah, so now we're coming up to the sanitarium.
Yeah.
with Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis, our introduction, Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis. Donald Pleasance goes on to be a cornerstone of Carpenter's career in a lot of his movies.
Right.
I think even up until his death, because wasn't one of those last Halloween ones his last appearance before he died?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So-
Right. Yeah, one of the either 4, 5, 6, something like that.
Yeah.
One of those.
Not that those were Carpenter movies, but you get the idea. It's based on his characters and stuff like that.
Now, reportedly wanted for this role was Christopher Lee.
Lee and Peter Cushing. I
Yeah.
think
Peter
they
Cushing.
Yeah,
considered both.
And-
but
and
arguably, those guys are great visually.
yeah, I can't imagine them. All these years later. I mean, they're both great actors.
Yeah,
Peter Cushing would bring the intensity to it, but it would almost feel too Van Helsing like.
yeah.
He's gone. The evil is gone.
And Donald
Here it
Pleasance is like really the secret sauce of this. Right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
He
It
is.
is. I would watch, and I just recently read that Blumhouse got the rights to do the Halloween
On
television
yeah,
show. I
that's
don't know
the thing.
what that's going to
Was it
be.
Miramax, I think?
Yeah.
Sold it or whatever, or bought it.
And
Sold it, whatever.
I don't know. If somebody's real smart, they'll kind of just make it like the Dr. Loomis casebook from the sanitarium and all his different patients, and maybe every episode.
You heard it here first.
Maybe
folks.
maybe every
Heard it here, man.
every
That is
episode-
awesome.
maybe every episode is or every season is a different patient and their backstory.
Damn.
I wanted to ask you guys
It's
about stuff like that, some make-believe or make-up, like offshoot stories that could be interesting
well.
in this universe.
One of the things that I'm gonna bring up right now, and I know people at home could get. There are some people that listen to podcasts like, oh my god, they're off topic, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a series out called Hannibal.
Mhm.
And it got a lot of praise. And I watched season 1 through 2, I think, and it took liberties with Thomas Harris's characters.
Okay.
Not badly, but when you got a guy that like you're trying to make Lecter your main star, as in the movie versions or the book versions where he really wasn't, he was just a secondary character. But because of his popularity, he came to the forefront. One of the first things they did, which was great, is season 1 was Lecter hadn't been captured yet. So, like I said, playing around in the universe, I was always curious about the character of Hannibal Lecter and what he was doing leading up to Will Graham's capture of him.
Mhm.
So, circling back around to what you said about stuff like this in universe,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Well, right now, Michael has escaped in the car.
Yep.
Before he gets to Haddonville, it's like 90 miles. We know he hits that mechanic up for the jumpsuits
Right.
shortly. But there's some time lapse in there before he gets to the hardware store, steals the mask.
Well, it
and
can't be too
rope
long
and
because
all
it's
that.
still all Halloween.
Yeah, it's
he's
that.
got to
it's
get
that
there by
afternoon.
Halloween.
He's gotta
Yeah,
get
so
well, who knows? That must have been the night before, right?
Yeah, night
Yeah.
before. So
I think, given the psychopath that he is, he probably went on a killing spree.
Right. I mean, there's a whole story
So,
that
yeah.
could be told from that
From that
time.
timeline, yeah.
he has a very direct mission. He wants to get home. So
Yeah.
Right. There's no connection to why he's coming home besides the fact that it was his
Thank-
house.
and thank you for that. I don't want any of that.
Right.
I,
There's
the,
his house.
The reason that he works as a character is because he has very little backstory and he's mysterious.
Right.
So
That's what makes it scary.
once you start explaining him, he loses all cool.
Well, I think first of all, he's already here because doesn't
That's
he show
right.
up?
He's right here.
He's actually in the house, and that's your first big jump scare, I think, because yeah, so he's already in the house. He just hasn't gotten that mask yet. He hasn't broken into
no.
the store.
Well, that's a good question.
No,
now,
he hasn't.
Now,
dude.
perhaps this is him seeing. Do we
because I couldn't tell if that was the mask or not in the window.
No, because she's driving in the car to babysit when they run by
Yeah.
her dad, not her dad,
Bracket.
but Brackett, and that stuff. It was broken into, et cetera, et cetera.
I guess you don't see.
So he's got the jumpsuit on,
So right, he's a
but
mechanic.
I think he doesn't. I think he doesn't have a mask,
I never thought about that.
Well,
unless
no,
he
that's-
was still
that happens-
investigating
that happens
that
earlier.
break-in,
Right,
because the break-in.
would be after school. They would have.
Well, they would have. I mean, it would have been like they would have been investigating it like it just happened because it happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I wonder if this
So-
is because Laurie came up to the front steps and he's
Before school.
before school. If this is his why he fixates. on
That's
her.
what happens. If she didn't drop off the key, she may never have been involved
Right.
in this evening. But he got it locked onto her,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it became a fixation.
Well, according to what Bob was talking about earlier off camera, this originally had a different title. What was that title?
Yeah, the babysitter murders.
Murders. Right.
Right.
So,
The working title.
yeah, working title was called The Babysitter Murders because all these young girls were babysitting, and that would have been good. The scene that we just watched was him talking to a doctor and why he's got to head out to Haddonfield. Believe it or not, there's some good outtakes that were shown, for the television broadcast.
Right.
They were added back in for the television broadcast, and a couple of them were specifically Donald Pleasance and his conversation and or meeting with the board members about Michael. And they're actually really pretty good. I was sad that they didn't end up in the film, but you never know. Now, my eyes are not that good. I can't tell if that dude's wearing a mask
Yeah, he's
or
got
not.
the mask on. Yeah.
so-
when she's looking out the,
Well, she'll be gone by the time I
the
look at it
classroom, there's
now,
another
yeah.
shot of it coming up. There.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. So they must have just been what's Nancy Lewis's character?
Annie
Brackett. Annie Brackett.
Sheriff Brackett.
Her father is sheriff. Yeah,
Charlie Cyphers.
they must have just been what?
Yeah, Charlie Cyphers.
Cyphers.
Right.
Yeah, right. They must have been just investigating all day long. So
It must have been a
happened-
long investigation.
Yeah, it must have
at
happened
the
earlier
hardware
because
because by the time they get there, it's like 3.
Yeah, but
school's out.
but when they get there, the alarm is still going off.
Yeah,
They do that joke about the alarm.
I never put that
He
together.
shouts too. Yeah, so they do that joke about the alarm. I admit, as a kid, this jump scare scared me.
Yeah, I do like this one.
Okay, this one got me. The house one didn't really, but
this is the kids coming out of school.
yeah,
out
and
of the elementary school, and Tommy getting bullied.
yeah, he's getting bullied like you wouldn't believe
You know
right
what
here.
happens on Halloween night?
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
you don't
we
know,
get candy.
Boogeyman comes get you and shit. Yeah. First of all, he's got a pumpkin way too big for himself. Anybody foreshadowing the scene is going to know that they're going to fuck his ass up
Well,
with that
I
pumpkin.
think because it was like springtime in Pasadena or whatever.
Oh yeah,
this
you
was
couldn't
shot.
find any pumpkins.
No, they had 2
Yeah.
pumpkins.
They had
or
2,
3.
right?
Yeah,
2
2
or
or 3.
3.
And didn't they have to paint them?
The gore, they were
Like,
gourds.
they were gourds.
Yeah.
They had to paint them.
Yeah.
So there was, and he
So-
smashed this one on one take because that was it.
Yeah, that was it. So they broke that. The kids ran away. One runs into Michael.
That's
He's
right.
got the mask on. You can see
Yeah,
it.
that's a great. I do like that jump scare.
And first of all, here's one of the better scenes. He follows young Tommy along.
Which
Oh, a nice
Like,
tracking.
yeah,
shot.
that's a
Yeah,
great
it's a great
tracking
shot.
shot, man.
Not a creeper at all.
Michael
All right, and I'm going to call this school out.
the pedo.
It's Halloween night, right? Halloween day.
Yeah, Halloween
Yeah.
day.
These kids don't get a costume.
The costume. Well,
What's
there
with
were
that?
2 in the shot in the beginning. One was dressed like a cowboy or something like that. There were 2, and they went off before they got the shot of the kids bowling.
And I just
So-
recently saw somebody had posted a photo on the internet that they were at a convention. They were posing with this station wagon.
Oh,
wow.
yeah, I've seen that travel around a bit.
Yeah.
I'd love to check it out.
Is it the real one though, or they just
Who
grab
knows?
one?
They,
Probably just-
they said it's the real one.
Really?
Who
Wow.
knows?
Who knows,
Who's
man?
keeping that in a barn somewhere for 40 years?
It's like that.
later?
Yeah, it's like that Back to the Future car, man. Who's keeping that thing all uptight like that?
I know people have said, "How does he know how to drive?" Because he's been.
I wasn't even going to bring that one up.
There's
Yeah.
a little. I guess there's a little bit in the novelization, which if we had it, because Jim sold his.
I did. It was for big money. It was
But
big
we don't
money.
have it handy.
Do you not have one?
Not
You
the-
have one.
Do I have an original?
You had one that was in bad
The
shape.
beat up one.
Yeah.
that's
So
right.
don't cry.
It's,
You got
it's
it.
like lower than good quality.
I see your Halloween 2
Well,
one
you
up
could have
there and
bid.
stuff,
It was free to everybody to bid.
Free to
I
everybody
did.
to
Was it
I
free market?
did. I bid the first bid on Jim's auction stuff
On
just so
his
I could
novel?
get out there, dude. Yeah,
And the very generous person that won it was super excited. And
Oh,
they
that's
were,
good.
that's great.
and
So
they,
went to a nice home.
we had that's exactly what I thought about it. So
That's
But
great.
in the novelization, I believe the little writing to get Michael to know how to drive was that they would let him do some kind of things with the truck on campus of
of the
asylum.
institute.
So that was a nice little
course.
connection.
I'm
I love how the train comes in. This is Loomis finding the mechanic's
Yeah,
truck,
Well,
and
nice timing on that shot.
that's a great timing on that shot.
yeah. Also, the only thing I'm not weirded out about, but I understand it's movies, and we don't like to pick them apart. But like, he stopped at the one phone booth that Michael killed the dude at,
Yeah.
which is like halfway between. That's I think he said.
and then we get the
Yeah,
matchbook.
The matchbook. Well, how does that connect? Because the nurse had it in her car. Oh, that's somehow Michael. Was
Yeah, she
smoking
was
cigarettes,
smoking. She was smoking
but she had it in the
in the station wagon.
Well, she was
Station
smoking too, right?
in the station wagon.
Yeah, that's what you
Yeah,
said. She was
somehow
smoking
it-
the station wagon.
That's connecting Loomis to the car.
Correct.
That whoever had the car was at the
Right.
murder site.
Right. And then Rob Zombie has used that in conjunction with his films.
He did.
right?
Didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's out once.
Yeah, I didn't, but
Zombie
I've
ones.
seen it.
The zombie ones are a little rough.
yeah,
The kind of the trailer trashy.
yeah, I don't get it. And,
All
then-
bringing is
and
kinda-
I didn't know. Again, I
Yeah,
didn't
that's what
need
he
to
wanted to
know.
That's a little bit much to.
It's
take.
it's Michael Myers for the Devil's Reject universe, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Okay.
that's pretty
there
much
are
it.
fans of that, but
Yeah.
So now we've been introduced to
Well,
PJ
it's-
Souls and
oh yeah, here we go.
Annie. We have the all three.
We got the
together.
Deborah Hill writing coming in, right? She did basically all the girl talk because
Right.
she was a former babysitter, I guess, when she was
Yeah.
younger.
And it all sounds very natural.
Yeah,
and these
it's very
girls,
good.
these girls feel like they're friends.
Teens in
right?
the late 70s, right? Totally.
Although
Totally.
whenever I look at movies like this from back in the day, they never look like teenagers, even though they
Yeah, I
are.
know. They're
They always
probably
look like they're 27 years
27
yeah.
or
old,
something.
you know? But they were actually teenagers, I think, when they made that. So, and smoking. Smoking is a big
Yeah.
thing back
Well,
in the day.
It kind of shows that she's kind of a bad girl.
Right.
Yeah, you don't get any of that stuff nowadays, but
She's going against the rules.
Lori's got that blowout hair, man. Holy cow.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Farrah Fawcett look.
Feathered, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't Annie say some shit?
Yeah,
in her
I
own
Speed
do
song?
Kills.
I do like
Speed
this.
Kills
I've-
Freak or something like
I've seen
that.
T-shirts with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know
Jared,
why she's all like freaking out. She thinks it's
I think they think it's one of the boys that they hang around with.
yes.
Hi, Ben Tramer.
The
or whatever.
only thing cool about Ben Tramer is Ben Tramer showing up at Halloween 2 and getting smoked. That was awesome. So
Literally.
yeah, the fact that they bring that around again was really good.
I too did tie some things that were nice, threaded
Yeah.
together, right?
Right. Plus, let's talk about the mask for a minute. Because
Okay.
we're not going to get a shot of it, so till the very end.
The mask is quite an enigma of this whole series, right? It's,
Legendary.
It's such a nebulous, vague thing. Whereas
Right.
Jason kind of has that hockey mask, and
Oh.
it kind of just varies.
And it took a while for him to get that, though. But
Yeah, the hockey mask thing, I'm not even going to talk about it.
Okay.
I
But
know.
like, the
Keep
first
it
one,
short.
not him. Second one, paper bag, awesome. He only took it off, and
Yeah.
it's because he's deformed.
Right.
I don't understand how the hockey mask was I think the hockey
The one
mask
that
was
stuck?
done in relation to
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
That's
we,
why
we,
it was.
we want it. Well, it's also it saves me on a ton of time for a guy in a
Makeup.
makeup chair. I got to put a
Yeah,
rubber
just-
hood on him
oh
and
my
then a
God.
mask.
Point, so
But anyway, back to
Bob
the Michael
doesn't.
mask.
Bob doesn't like the masks, by the way, folks. Behind us.
I still
So
yeah, those are stock right off the shelf. I'd love to get them rehauled someday, but
So the blank face of Michael Myers is kind of what sells him as being super creepy. It's there's no expression, there's no emotion. The blank stare is really, you can kind of project all your fears,
Yeah.
and whatnot onto that.
I've read that they
it's like
They-
Mr. Ring.
played with the idea of Nixon, a Nixon mask,
Oh.
President Nixon, and Dr. Spock, and the Emmett Smith type.
Emmett Kelly.
Emmett Kelly, sorry.
The clown.
Emmett Smith.
Emmett Smith is for the Cowboys, right? Running back.
That's a whole different movie. That's a whole different
That is a
movie.
different movie, boy. Emmett Smith mask showing up. I want to see somebody make a short film of that.
But anyway, the sad clown. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's everybody who involved in this movie has a different story as to how that came to be. The one that seems to make the most sense, told by the people that worked at Don Post Studios, was that the folks came to their studio, said, "We're looking for a mask. We're making a movie," and amongst the ones that were in the shop, they chose a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask. Whether or not they saw it finished or not finished is up for debate. But they had them. They took the sideburns off of it, because Captain Kirk has very particular pointy sideburns,
Right.
and they changed or painted the hair black, which would come off on
Spray
occasion,
tan, right?
and then they had
Plants white.
right. So they put white on it, and then they cut the eyes bigger. The eye holes
Right. The
bigger.
whole sockets. Yeah.
So it looked less like it was supposed to be William
William
Shatner. So that's the little. I think just that is really what keeps it from immediately being identified as William
Right.
Shatner. Once you know it's William Shatner,
Yeah.
you can see it.
Yeah, kind of.
Jump scare number 3.
The good thing about this
Yeah.
is that you only get maybe 3 or 4 scenes that really showcase the mask. One
Right.
most profoundly is when he's on the phone.
That's the best shot.
You know,
Right.
yeah. So Charles Cypher's here as Annie's father, the sheriff. Talk about everybody's entitled to one good scare on Halloween. So
Just become a nice tagline for merchandise.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I'm sure they didn't plan it back then, right?
No,
Nothing like that was even
Too
thought
bad,
of.
dude. I tell you, the opening shots of him in Halloween 2, where his deputy runs up to him and he tells him that it's his daughter in the house.
One of them was Annie.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, this is all kind of played lightheartedly, so to speak. You know, he's got smiles all the time.
Right.
Seems to be a fun dude, man. But that's like that.
He changes.
Yeah, he changes. That's a gut punch, man.
Yeah, he's done.
Because he's like hollering at Loomis afterwards by saying, God damn you for letting him out, stuff like that. But I don't like how he never got involved
Oh,
after that. Like, he's gone for the movie.
you didn't get to say Halloween ends tonight. And go ahead and kill people. No, didn't say that.
Well, I
Halloween
think
Kills, they brought him
I
back.
thought he would have been involved with Loomis tracking him down, but he
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah. Once once he was like, "Oh yeah, I guess you weren't lying and making this stuff up." It seems like he.
But
would've-
then he just went and took care of Annie and
well, I guess he
whatever
had a
they're
bunch
doing.
of murders to deal with.
yeah, I guess. But part of that investigation for murders is tracking down the killer.
So yeah. And,
So-
and Charles is one of
the shot come
Carpenter's.
Have to get a shot of that, man. That is awesome. Also, get a shot of that book that he has of the Captain Kirk mask that we were talking about. Yeah,
that's a good
I
shot.
get a shot of that.
But
So
There's the two storylines in this in Halloween. It's basically Loomis tracking down the killer,
yep.
right,
and then Michael stalking the teenagers.
Right.
So it's kind of running parallel until
Yes.
pretty much the very end scene.
so right to the
Yeah.
end, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
They meet.
Really
they
well.
finally meet at the end, yeah.
It's really like that alone is kind of a neat aspect of the way this is put together. I mean, I know you look at it nowadays; it's a little slow, compared to modern movies. But
yeah, you would have had 3 kills already,
Yeah.
and they would have been gruesome kills. Which, by the way, is it who's the new director? Donald or David? David Gordon Green.
Yeah,
So, like, in the reimagining of the Halloween that he did, it had kills even before we really got to the Michael stuff. Like, once, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, once those people got to the asylum and he got out, he kills the 2 in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, they get it going right away. There's not really a slow burn anymore.
It-
You don't find a movie that's got slow burns usually anymore because people
No.
find that boring.
Well, we're currently conditioned to look at everything for 30 seconds and move on to the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
thing,
right.
right?
Good point.
So
Good
Like
point.
this just plays out where it's just a full day of dread.
Right.
As
Yeah.
a viewer, you're dreading what's coming,
you know something's up.
Yeah.
Right.
but you
Yeah.
don't know when it's going to strike, who's going to get it.
Right.
You're kind of getting an idea. Lori and her friends. Now
So-
she's going to go babysit, right? Or she's going to round up the troops
Right.
to see what's going on
So
Yeah.
for being in California
in the
they-
springtime.
in the springtime, they do such an excellent job creating the atmosphere of fall in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Do I
There's a
remember? I remember reading that like they had a bag of leaves
Yeah.
That they would just
that they
scoop
would
up and-
after they would use a thing. Everybody would run out and grab all the leaves and put them back in the bag.
There's a couple scenes where obviously we listen to
Palm tree,
commentaries and
right?
stuff like that. Yeah, they're way down the streets. You know,
Yeah.
California, if you've ever visited California, they're notorious for palm trees.
Oh yeah, if you look
So like
way
this
down.
scene, yeah, they hide it really well. But there's a couple of them that they're really in the background, but you know what? Your focus is on the characters, so you're not going to notice.
Yeah.
This is going to be the break-in scene here in a minute. You know,
Yeah.
What'd
Yeah,
they take?
yeah.
This is
A
after-
couple of knives and masks.
They just got home from school. They're getting their evening plans
Right.
for Halloween night. The two
Which Annie's
friends-
taking care of the other kid down the street,
Oh yeah,
And Annie,
Tommy,
and
and
yeah.
Lori's taking care of
Tommy.
Tommy.
Right.
Well, who's the other one
I
taking care
can't
of?
remember her name.
oh,
yeah, sorry.
Lindsay.
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 Yeah.
Annie's taking care of Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's to be debatable.
Oh, this is a great scene. I forgot about this. This
Oh.
one never really. I never remember this scene, but I love this guy.
Oh,
Get it nice.
yeah.
So
he,
then
he tells this great story about the guy. He took a knife, and
And
then
then he gets cut off.
he gets cut off, and he
Uh,
proceeded to.
so this is Loomis. I don't know what he's doing. He's in a cemetery. And
Why is
I-
he here?
yeah, they've never described or explained
What
why
led him
he's
here?
following up on it. So all we know is that
Coming to see
Judith Myers,
It's a great, the Pepperidge Farm guys is taking him to Judith.
the
Judith Myers.
sister, Michael Myers' sister, is buried here. So
So perhaps
her headstone is going to be missing, is what
It's another
we're
great,
leading to.
another great shot. This moving camera
Yeah.
with them through the whole cemetery. I do like that shot.
Yeah, there's a lot of visuals in this that Carpenter was ahead of his time, I think, because
Yeah.
of the technology that was coming out and being applied to it.
this film could easily be made by a lesser crew and be
Right.
completely forgettable.
Right.
As example to most of the films that followed this in its wake.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's why I
Yeah.
think that this had such a longevity to, that first year that it came out, that it kept building, because the slow burn, I think, lends itself really well to this, like really well. Like it's, like Bob just said, that sense of dread where you're like, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
And once it does happen, it's going to be probably horrific. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Couple
So
of girls smoking doobies.
Now,
back in 1977,
In a van down by the river.
smoking the weed.
now Annie is played by Nancy Loomis, right?
Yep.
And Nancy Loomis is one of Carpenter's stock players. She shows
Yeah.
up in a couple of things. She's in Assault on Precinct 13.
She is, which she's
Notably.
nothing like this character.
No, absolutely nothing
yeah,
like this
so
character.
yeah, good job for her.
And then she also has a brief appearance at the beginning of Escape from New York. She's one of the terrorists in the airplane.
She's
Yep.
on the fog too. She's
Uh,
with
she's with the mom,
Janet Leigh.
Janet.
Yes,
Janet
her
Leigh,
she's
assistant.
her
Yep.
assistant, right.
Yeah, great, good, nice little part.
Yeah, she precedes like Aubrey Plaza and that kind of assistant. Kind of
All
like,
right.
Watching this many years ago, Bob pointed this out to me. I wasn't really paying attention, but when Brackett or Loomis looks one way, then the other way,
He's still smiling, having a good old day.
she's like, "What?"
Sheriff Brackett, he's having a good day. Probably kids. Sounds kind of sketchy to me.
I know, dude. Rope and a
And
couple of
knives.
knives
Right,
and a
so-
mask.
some arsenic, some bleach,
Yeah,
a couple tarps,
Anybody did that today, they'd be like, "What?"
a hatchet.
So, folks, if you're watching at
Call the
home,
FBI.
the scene right here, where this is the first introduction of Loomis to Sheriff Brackett.
Oh.
He actually comes up to his crime scene, and he's like, right here, getting out of the car, "I'm so-and-so, so-and-so." And the way it's, I didn't notice this, I admit, the first time I saw it. Bob pointed this out to me. So Michael's car is off to the left in here somewhere.
Mhm.
It's still parked right here. It's rolling into scene.
Here it comes.
Yeah, and it's timed so perfectly. And when Loomis looks one way,
It's
Michael will
perfect.
pull out,
Even with traffic
Yep.
going. I wonder how
Yep.
they did that.
and then he's like, he's going to look the other way, and he won't catch the car. Look at that. I mean, that is
Such a
amazing.
well-done shot.
That is a great shot right there. And
It's
I didn't
simple,
notice that.
but-
I didn't pay attention to that the first time I ever saw it. So
I do have nitpick
No.
about
no,
about the daylight going. I mean, unless it's like daylight saving or something, it gets dark quick.
Quick, yeah, it's true.
Well, it is October in the Midwest, in
The
Illinois,
Midwest,
right?
around here too,
I don't know.
right?
I don't know if we get dark that early.
Well,
6:45.
It's
something
still
like
light out, and it's not quite so late.
Yeah, so I mean that's we gotta be deep in the heart of
Movie
winter
magic.
to get that whole 5 o'clock, and it's
Come in
dark.
October. It'll be that. That's
that. But that was a thing, right? When we were in high school or so, you get out of school and you're kind of like, okay, what's going on tonight?
yeah.
Got my homework
Yeah.
done, and what are my buddies doing, or whatever. You know.
That's true. We had to call each other on the phone.
Yeah, if you weren't there, you weren't there.
Yeah, dude. It's like you didn't have.
He's not home. Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah, I got that many times. I try to call your dad. I'll be like, I don't know where he's at. Some bitch.
Plans are shot.
Yeah, he's like, I think he went out with that girl.
All
Like,
right.
oh my god. Which is weird because all of us really knew where each other was when we were teenagers.
Pretty much.
If it
Like,
was,
what
the,
was
if
going
it was
on.
the weekend, we were working.
Yeah, that's true. Why am I caressing
Yeah.
his head?
I don't know. That's really
Sound like going,
It's like you're summoning
Michael.
Michael.
I will tell you this. So back on target here.
We're getting into the darkness.
Oh, now it's like pitch black.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's
15 minutes later. And
50 minutes later. It is pitch black. That sun has gone bye bye. So the guy who played Michael, wasn't it Tommy Wallace?
Nick Castle?
Nick Castle, was it? All right, I didn't know if it
For
was that
most,
or
I think there was a bit of a.
Okay, so
They swapped
the
out here
good
and
thing
there.
about it is, like, if you look at him, he's a scrawny guy, and it works a lot better for Michael. As Michael would go on throughout the subsequent years, he would get beefier,
he gets beefy.
and I hate that. Culminating in Rob Zombie's,
Yeah,
what is
like
that, Taylor Maine
he's
or whatever
like
his name is, or
The
NFL tight end
Undertaker.
or something by that time.
What's that?
He's like an NFL tight end. He's like 265 and
yeah, well,
6'5".
in the Rob Zombie ones, he's played by like the dude who played Sabretooth in the X-Men movies.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know his name.
It's a nice shot. Of
Yeah.
Michael stalking from the street.
He definitely
Tree.
has that mask on now. So
You mentioned the mask, and it does matter who was wearing the mask for how it looks.
Yeah, so that's a thing in for as much monster stuff and masks that I collected. I never got a Michael Myers mask
That's
when
weird,
they
dude.
became
That is
commercially
weird.
available. And when I was collecting masks, I did find in the early days of the internet the mask collecting community, and there was a Halloween subset that were very. Maybe it was the dark underbelly of this that I saw that I did want to be involved in, but it was because these people they would fight, like they would throw down, and this guy makes a better one, and this guy makes a better one, and this guy makes
As
this
far
one.
as the
and
character, you mean?
as
Wearing
far as the
mask?
way he looks, and it's like, oh, and then they would have a wall that is like 50 Michael Myers masks,
Oh
and
my
it's like
God.
They're all different.
that are all different. This is how he looked when he was in the closet. This
Yeah.
is because it
It's
makes a
different
difference
people. I
on
think Tommy
who's.
Lee Wallace was the closet one,
It's
Don't break
sometimes
into
it's
the
a
closet.
wider head,
Nick
sometimes
Castle's-
it's a thinner head, sometimes so
and then you go to 2, you got Dick Warlock, with
Right.
the wider face.
right. Yes,
That
yeah,
gets
it's very
stretched
round.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a whole. It's the same mask.
and a really
Two.
cool story about one of these guys that was creating these masks early on for Myers and stuff was a guy by the name of Justin Mabry, and he's was at that time a fantastic sculptor, and he's even become a much better sculptor. And if you are buying any Trick or Treat products, chances are you're buying his work.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But he went from like Myers sculpting superfan to the guy that sculpted the Myers mask for the 2018,
Which
and
looks pretty good, I think. But
so
I do like-
as a continuation of this is what it would look like deteriorated.
Aged,
So he
deteriorated.
went from fan to the guy who made it for the film.
that's pretty cool.
That is
So
pretty good.
yeah, he's
Isn't there a dead dog in this house at this point?
Supposedly he
he's
had a
eating.
snack.
He
Yeah.
had a snack.
They imply, not so subtly, that that's how he's surviving through the day, Michael.
Right. Apparently,
He just can't roll into a
Drive through.
drive-through, I guess.
I would have just
Yeah. no money,
Jack in the
maybe?
Box probably back then.
maybe show an empty lunch pail from the guy in the tow truck. Oh,
No bologna sandwich.
That's good. Halloween does have good jump scares.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
it
are
does.
well
used,
timed. They're
used
used,
efficiently and well.
and yes,
You know,
So
I know Mark's not a fan of jump scares.
I'm
but
not.
how
I
do
don't
you-
like
how do you
jump
like them
scares
in this
for
movie?
that. So the jump scares in this, I think, are good because it's the introduction of the killer. So when he comes out, it's almost all this scene of the killer
With a purpose.
and with a purpose. This one, okay, like you were like, all right, we went 20 minutes without something. So
I think it's to
the
show
gunner-
him, like he's got the gun.
the,
and it's like-
the gun, they had to
Right.
get a scene that he had the gun. I was just about to talk about that. So it's like weird. He's the psychiatrist for Michael, and he pulled out a gun, and Sheriff Brackett asks him about it.
And you could say the jump scare with the kid, the little boy, is that he latches on to Tommy.
Right.
It's kind of that trajectory.
right,
Right.
and yeah, because he's seen Tommy earlier in the day,
Right.
Now he's following him. Yeah. So there's like
Tommy and Lori
purpose
are
for
a twofer.
Yeah,
right?
maybe if he follows Tommy, he's going to get to Lori. 'Cause
Right.
he would. Where would he go to get to Lori? He wouldn't know.
He wouldn't know. Right.
Perhaps,
But you got to figure if he is methodical like that, that's actually pretty smart. He's like, I saw that kid.
Yeah.
He's probably got to be going to school in town somewhere. You know what I mean?
well, maybe he identifies with Tommy because he's that age.
Dude, this is Halloween. You got to go that deep.
Right?
I would
Project upon the mythology.
something I never really realized that Michael Myers, the name is never really spoken in this whole movie. That only Michael is the very big opening scene, and he's never mentioned by name. Loomis calls him he or it or
Yes, he doesn't address him as a person.
Yeah, he doesn't humanize him.
Yeah,
So that's the
and-
opposite of what we do
Tommy
nowadays.
calls him the boogeyman.
Right.
So it's
And
like-
that's the point.
I've never really thought about
That's the
that.
point.
He's never really called out by name.
So think about Silence of the Lambs, right? When that girl
Oh.
gets captured, the one down in the pit, and they get the lady, the senator on the
Yeah.
screen. She's like, Catherine is such a good.
Yeah.
Catherine's, and they make a point to
oh
say,
yeah, with
oh,
Starling and her friend.
yeah. And if you humanize it, they'll stop seeing. The killer will stop seeing that person as a victim or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, as far as the filmmaking goes with this, yeah, they're not allowing us to humanize Michael.
And that's
Right.
part of the,
To us, he is the boogeyman.
like Jim
right
mentioned earlier, the mystery of the characters.
Yeah.
Is he human? Is he inhuman?
Right.
It's very blurry, which kind of makes that cool.
Up until
Like you say, too much information.
up until the point where he meets Bob. Then he's kind of inhuman when he meets Bob because he's, lifting him.
Oh yeah,
When we get
yeah,
there,
that's what I mean. There's parts where he's
yeah,
like supernatural.
right.
I just got confused there.
You thought I was talking about this, Bob?
I was like, meet Bob. What the
I
hell?
met him.
Yeah, what's going on?
No,
And
no,
I
no.
forget who you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Lindsay, come get this damn dog.
Lindsay.
That's another scene that. So the dog goes outside to bark at Michael. Michael chokes the dog. And that's a. So Carpenter, I can't think of another movie before this. So to me, Carpenter was the guy that hit that synthesizer note.
Oh,
Yeah. And everybody will know what
Stinger.
I'm talking about.
It's a
Yeah.
stinger. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So, in fact, trivia, if you listen to the Halloween 2 soundtrack, it has just a track of stingers on there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, it's on your album right there, wherever it's at. But if you just played that one track, it would just be the stingers
Yes.
that they would use. You know what I mean?
Great shot of him standing outside the house. I just love that shot.
Yeah.
The blue light on the house with the little
Yeah.
backlit silhouette of the shape.
We talked about in our previous episode about what scared us as kids. Bob talked about lighting and its effects when we were doing trick or treating to scare. And obviously, you can see where we get that from because, it works in the movies so well.
Absolutely.
Halloween 2 gets a lot of reds because of the hospital and
Hospital,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it
point.
gets a lot of
Yeah.
reds. So this first one got a lot of blues. To me, it should all just be called Halloween Part 1, Halloween Part 2, but whatever, Is it the kid that sees sees him when he's carrying?
Oh,
Annie,
yeah.
right?
Annie, yeah.
Yeah, because that would be it for me. I mean, you could be like, hey, the boogeyman, but that dude's carrying the body at that
I'm
point.
going to talk about that when it comes up. There's
Okay.
some things I like about it. But now we get the long drawn out, suspenseful build up to what's going to happen with Annie, with the
Well-
back and forth to the laundry room and
Yes.
with the car in the garage, and she's trying to leave.
And kudos to Lindsay. She's a trooper watching The Thing from Another World and not even flinching. And that was a terrifying scene. That was like he's fighting the dogs at that scene. He was
Damn.
I could tell from the sound.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
The carrying the body part, I want to ask you guys because the thing is in the background with that too. I think
Yeah, the thing. So
the original thing.
yeah, to give everybody kind of a clue, a heads up. So John Carpenter is an absolutely huge fan of Howard Hawks. That and John Ford, I think, the two guys that really influenced him. And Howard Hawks directed the phenomenal Thing from Another World,
Right.
which is a great movie. It really is. In fact, when they open the door and he's standing there, he fucking tries to hit him, dude.
Yeah.
That, to me, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, and it inspired Carpenter to remake The Thing in his own way. So, but all of these in the background, Carpenter wanted handpicked and say, I need this stuff playing in the background. This is what I want to do. So
we're at the point now, right?
What's that?
We're at the point now, just for our viewers
that
to
makes
know.
some work. That's
Just the title sequence for the original.
Because Lindsay was just watching this movie. Maybe it's on both channels in town.
Yeah, maybe it's a different channel.
Or maybe it's just one of these, like the Christmas Story was on all day.
All day long. Yeah, maybe it was just on again
It
later
had to
on.
have been a practical effect, right?
That was, yeah.
Burning through.
Yeah. Carpenter would reuse that for his thing.
Looks great.
Wisely so.
Wisely so, yes. Absolutely.
This hits home, though, because it's very true when you were a kid sitting on the couch with the lights off watching a scary movie. You know what I mean? It just kind of...
Right, and then you get scared, and your parents come in. The first thing they say is, why are you sitting here with all the lights off?
Yeah.
That's the first thing your parents would scream at you. You'd be like, because it's better that way. Because as a kid, you want to be scared.
Right.
You want to be scared, but you don't want to be put in harm's way.
I want to be on the edge.
Which this is a put in harm's way.
Yeah, a little bit.
By the way, there's just an absolutely hilarious scene to me. It's not meant to be funny, but when they're walking out of the kitchen with the carved pumpkin, and they're going, oh, like, I don't know why I laugh all the time.
I like that part.
It's just really funny to me. I don't even know what they're doing. Like, it's just weird, like a ceremony or something.
Even without the whole, like, saving you from being murdered by the boogeyman, Lori, top-notch recommendations on a babysitter. She would totally keep you occupied. Have fun with you.
Yeah. She sounds like I'm gonna get her name wrong, but who did you have that when you busted your teeth?
Oh, Ruthie. Yeah,
Ruth
Kime.
So that sounds like that's how she was.
She was very cool. She would have saved us from being murdered.
We should talk about Lori for a minute, right? Because we've talked about Michael,
everybody else,
and everyone else. But Lori is an interesting character. She's not just kind of a one-dimensional final girl or whatever they call it.
Right.
She's the only one in the movie that is kind of senses something's up, where everyone else is kind of blissfully going through their day and la la la.
It's all that weed.
Let's go get beer.
Smoke all that weed. Get drunk. Yeah.
Get my boyfriend or whatever. And Lori's the only one that's like, wait a minute, something's not right.
This dude's weird. There's
Something's
people
weird.
lurking about. Yes.
And I'm going to go check on my friends. I'm going to put my own safety at, she's cares about other. I mean, it's a really interesting character. I never really delved into thinking about her that much in the past. But as you get older, you kind of take more traits of these characters to heart.
Well, you got to realize that us as teenagers as well, first of all, we couldn't make this movie because we all die. But like, we're into that category where you want to have fun and stuff. I'm not. Maybe Jim was more along the lines
aware
of
aware
of stuff,
surroundings.
Yeah, but I know I didn't. I know you didn't, because every time we were together, it was just ass. We were doing things that we probably get in a lot of trouble for. You know what I mean? But even watching stuff like that, you're oblivious. I mean, if the killer's in the house, you're still going to be oblivious. Right. Because we're like, oh, here comes that scene in that movie and stuff. So
and he's stuck in the laundry room.
So it is good that Lori is so hyper aware. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And basically, she's the
she
character.
Has situational awareness.
Yeah, she's the character now that us as parents tell our kids to be.
Right.
Always be aware of your surroundings and stuff like that. So back then, crafting her, which that was Deborah Hill. So given that character dimension, Carpenter was like, I just need a girl in here to get chased, So
trying to think of, I guess, like a Sidney. Who was the Scream? Sidney Prescott?
I don't like those movies, though.
But I'm trying to think of comparable.
She would be a comparable.
Sidney Prescott, yeah, I guess. I don't know. That girl from the first Nightmare on Elm Street was pretty
Oh, yeah.
good.
She was good.
Oh, Nancy.
Nancy
yeah,
was pretty good.
yeah.
She was like,
Oh, she was on top of it from the get go.
yeah, she was. She took Freddy by the balls in that one.
Yeah, she
You know.
figured out you have to check him out of the dream.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so that was pretty good.
Shout
So,
out to Nancy from Elm
There you
Street.
go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
What-
but again, that's that Wes Craven beginning.
right.
You know what I mean, with that first real one, even though Craven had done Hills Have Eyes and stuff
Right.
like that, but still,
I think characters like those, give us as audience members something to. I'm going to root for this one because it's not the stupid person,
Right.
right?
yeah.
They show a half a shred of common sense in a film.
Nikki always hates, no matter what, even if it's a really strong character, when they trip.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
She's like, she's like, that's such a trope that we should have done away with years ago.
sure.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen. Like the only way you really trip is if you're not
Going
aware
up a
of the
hill or
surrounding or
down a
something. Yeah, I
hill
mean,
or-
I guess you're running through the forest, maybe.
Well, how about
You know?
quicksand? How many of you guys have been caught in quicksand? Because it was on every TV show you ever watched,
Oh my
right?
As
God,
kids, as kids, we
quicksand.
thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger deal.
Yeah, it was like around every corner.
We did. Quicksand was going to be our demise. Like
yeah.
it might be like, look at that dirt patch in the
Gilligan's
back.
Island or whatever. the
I
hell
think
it was.
Richard down the
I'm
street.
going to go
he
walk
had
right behind a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, they tore up a tree in his backyard.
Oh.
I think it was just all dirt. We were like, that's going to be quicksand.
Quicksand.
That's quicksand. It's going to get you, man. Oh, my God. And, of course, there has to be the obligatory teenage sex
Yes,
and
so,
sexuality
this
and
is
stuff
part
like
of,
that.
you
You
know,
know?
this
Yeah.
is
This is the late 70s, people, right?
This
Right.
is a slasher movie or horror movie staples of this time.
Now, they
Right.
kept it kind of in check. It got out of hand in the 80s, right?
Yeah, when it hits the 80s, it's all over
80s
the
is
place.
all nudity galore,
The
dude.
barn doors are opened, so to speak.
so to speak.
That is true, man. But you're right. You could not see a scary movie in the 80s without
Some nudity.
gratuitous nudity.
Right,
yeah.
right. Now let's talk about Lindsay for a quick second. So, actress Kylie Richards,
Is it Kylie?
Kylie?
Kaylee? Kylie?
Kylie Richards, infamous now more for being a housewife on one of
Oh, really?
those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I
didn't
can't
know that.
remember.
I know
Sister of Kim Richards, who was
Yeah,
shot
I
in
knew-
Assault on Precinct
It was
13.
Assault on Precinct
Oh,
13.
yeah.
I knew it was her sister, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she looks like her. You can tell if you go back and
Oh.
watch. You can tell she looks like her. It's funny though when they're like, "You want to go see Tommy?" She's like, "Okay."
There's our stinger.
That's about our third stinger, yeah. Which that one was uncalled for.
Well, now
but-
you know he keeps getting closer and
He's getting
closer to
closer.
Annie. And now he sees that.
Did you wear a Luke
Tommy's-
Skywalker outfit?
No, just an astronaut.
Astronaut,
Space cadet
It's
kinda
always
thing.
like Luke Skywalker. And Tommy pulls a real hard dick move here later on, man,
Oh.
where he scares the shit out of her.
But that's the part.
That's the
so
part,
carry
yeah,
on and
so,
talk about
yeah.
that, 'cause that's one of my favorite parts. Carving the pumpkin, Lori.
Lori should get extra pay for having to do that from the parents because
Yeah.
that should have been done ahead of time. Filming it late night technically after trick or treating is over. No one's coming to their door.
What is
Yeah,
going
dude.
on in Haddonfield that is so many parents are going out on Halloween night?
I don't know, dog.
Maybe there's
I don't know. There was a handful of couple kids. It's funny because way early in the film, when she's walking around, you see a group
Yeah,
of trick or
Handfuls
treaters.
of
Yeah.
kids and-
And then you don't see none with the whole driving part. And then right when she gets to their house, then you see the neighborhood kind of alive with trick or treaters.
yeah.
But that dies out way quick.
Now it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's got to
Well,
be like
I
10
don't know.
o'clock or
Streetlights
so.
came on.
Ah, I wouldn't say it's 10, but I'd say it's probably 9-ish.
9:30.
Yeah, it's got to be in the 9 o'clock hour.
And I'm also going to call a foul on there's no one counting candy at all.
Yeah, the kids.
There's nobody going through their haul of stuff that they got.
Yeah. Did they go out, though?
That's a good point.
They better have.
I don't think they went out.
They could have went out way early.
their
Way
parents
earlier before.
suck.
With the parents,
With
maybe?
the
And then the
parents?
parents went to a Halloween costume.
Yeah, that's
It's like,
why
hey,
when
we're
you're that
done.
old, it's like, all right, it's quick, hurry up, eat your dinner, and we're going to take you out for like an hour at five,
Oh,
Yeah,
at 5
God,
o'clock.
5 o'clock
Jeez.
or 4:30,
Before it gets dark out.
and then
This big ass jar of candy right here on the tables, folks. But you
hopefully
missed it all
everyone
night.
watching with us is enjoying their Halloween candy.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Or at least the leftovers if they were handing out.
yeah.
We're usually left with a couple halves of
We
that.
are too, man. We're always left with a ton of candy.
All right, least favorite Halloween candy? Anybody got one?
Heath.
But I love.
Heath, get out!
I don't like Heath Bar either.
You guys suck.
Oh.
Give me
Hard,
all.
isn't the
Give
hard
me
one?
all the Heath.
Isn't that Heath the hard?
It's a
like
toffee.
It's a toffee.
Yeah, it's
It's
like break
oh.
your tooth kind of thing.
I don't like that either.
Now we're getting to the first on-screen kill, right?
Yeah. So she's going to go see her boyfriend, Paul.
My Paul.
Mhm.
Oh, Paul.
By the way, I never showed her put the keys in the car. She didn't notice that.
This is
Yeah.
great.
The car was locked.
The whole car scene is fantastic. The whole
Michael moves like a son of a bitch right here,
Yeah.
too, man. He is quick.
that condensation on the
Well, the
inside
car
of
was
window.
locked when she came back because she went to get the keys in the house. She came back and just opened the car because she didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But she would have paused, Nancy, for 2 seconds. She would have known that somebody got in that car. How, though? Extra set of keys?
Maybe he just.
Now, I'm not sure what happens, but I think he's strangling her, but he cuts
Just the
her.
final blow, you know.
Yeah. Like whatever's happening right there. You can't see it, but I think he slit her throat.
Yeah, not a lot of blood. No blood, actually.
Yeah, he slit her throat. And so that's a great shot. Just her eyeball like that.
Yeah. And outside the car, too, you're kind of witnessing it from outside.
So Nancy is the first victim
voyeuristic.
of
what's going on. Oh, and the kids are watching the thing. Must be a marathon. It's got to be a marathon.
Yeah,
Well, it just started when. Yeah,
It's got to be a marathon, though.
Lindsay was
Got to be
watching.
going over and over.
Sorry. I did hear somebody
This is
petition perhaps on Halloween night they should play Halloween all day long like they play a Christmas Story.
oh
That's
gosh,
pretty good.
the same one over and over. I know AMC usually.
Now,
plays
that's
them
not the
series.
thing that they just
What?
showed.
All right, I didn't-
Because it was a flying saucer coming down.
Oh, I think that might be. That's Day the Earth Stood Still. I think.
This is the part I like because I like that sound behind it. It's like this
Right,
weird.
but we were seeing
Oh,
the
it's the
doctor from the
theremin
thing.
sound.
Somebody changed the scene. Oh my god. She fell for it.
But the sound, I love the sound behind it because it fits in with him carrying the body.
So Tommy turns around. He's trying to scare Lindsay. Tommy turns around. He sees Michael carrying,
That weird 50s,
Yeah.
like Jim saying,
and he
Theremin.
freaks out.
Sound.
Star Trek theremin. Like that's where I heard a lot of it. So he goes back in the house. Front door, like not a care in the world.
But only Tommy sees it.
He starts freaking out, saying, "I saw the boogeyman." He's scaring the shit out of Lindsay, and Lori's like, "Stop it! You're
This is-
scaring Lindsay."
This is planting the seed in Lori's head of just a little bit of doubt, right? That's
Right.
something
Something's not
that
quite
later
right.
on
Something's
that'll
not quite
grow
right.
into something later. Like she'll come back to it. Oh wait, Tommy said there was something. You know what I mean? It'll kind of kick in.
First of all, I just gotta say this, dude. At the end, when she's like, "Why don't you go out the door? Why don't you go down now?" I love that. They have the thought of this is what I need you to do. You're gonna pay attention to my instructions. Right back to watching.
Yeah.
So it was weird, folks, because the continuity is they were watching the thing a little while ago. Now they're watching that. Oh my god! I'm so sorry.
Well, that might
Excuse
just be help show passage of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a great scene. I forgot about this. Or Loomis.
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass out of there. Whoever he says.
Hey, Lonnie. Lonnie's in the sequel trilogy.
I'm assuming that Gordon Green pulled a lot of Easter eggs out like that. So,
I brought back Lindsay.
isn't Anthony Michael Hall supposed to be
He's Tommy.
He's Tommy.
Tommy?
And then
They
Lindsay's
pull,
in
they
it.
pull her back as Lindsay.
And the nurse, too. He's brought back. Get your ass out of there.
He's so happy with himself.
I
Look
know,
at
look
it.
at his smile. He's like,
He's so happy. And then
he's got his little.
somebody taps him on the shoulder.
I do love that one.
No.
Loomis was like, yeah, it's Halloween. I got
Yeah, he's
scared.
like, I scared some kids. Yeah, I can't bring myself to watch those new ones. I watched the first one and it was okay, but I don't know.
It seems like it would have been hard to get out of that. Where they left him at the.
Yeah, at end of 2018.
Yeah. I haven't
basement.
watched them past that, and I've heard all the gory
Kills is
details
a
about.
fun. Just he's out killing people left and right.
Well, that's
He
what
kills-
like the firemen are the ones that come in and get him, right?
It's
Yeah,
just
so-
like crazy killing going on. And
Yeah.
if you could just bypass some of the Evil Dies Tonight,
Yeah,
chants,
everybody.
the whole middle portion, it's like okay.
Well,
But-
speaking of kind of that, so in Halloween 2 is when he started to delve more into mythology. So there's a scene in the school. Remember, and he writes Sam Hain in
Mhm.
blood. Not sure whose blood it was. We never find out. Could have been
That's good.
Michael's because apparently he's bleeding from 6 gunshot wounds throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
By the way,
Not
So-
leaving a trail everywhere. he
not leaving a
goes.
trail, but he's bleeding. And when he picks up knives and stuff, it shows some blood dripping and all that crap. But Loomis just said, I know he's going to come back here tonight. He's been here once. I'm going to wait for him. So that's kind of what he just told the sheriff. Sheriff Brackett.
Brackett still,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Brackett. Well, he's checked on him twice now. So he's gone to the house twice with him. Because he was there about the dog, too, wasn't he? When the thing crashed into it.
Yeah,
Because that's when he pulled the gun out.
Yeah.
So the sheriff has gone back twice to check on him.
all the Loomis scenes are very good exposition
Yeah.
on building the mythology of Myers.
That's his whole purpose, I think.
Right, yeah.
Is to give you
He give you the viewer to build.
Right.
Michael's hype man.
Yeah, he is.
He is Michael's hype man, isn't
he
he?
should get a raise. So
Yeah.
You know, this Bob character
Yeah.
is supposed to be Randy Quaid. Or Dennis Quaid.
Oh,
not
Dennis
Randy,
Quaid?
Dennis Quaid.
I could see it as Dennis Quaid.
But he was not available. I think that was on that Netflix.
yeah.
That would take you out of that movie like real quick.
This was way back.
Yeah,
This
but
was
that's-
No,
probably
I
like,
mean now, but now
Oh,
that we
yeah.
know who he is
Oh,
with all
yeah.
that, going back and watching
I
it,
don't know. Kevin Bacon doesn't take me out of Friday the 13th. So
that's a quick scene. I mean, this guy's got a little bit more to do, I guess. I think Dennis Quaid would have been. It'd be like, I want to fight Michael. I think I should have a scene.
thank goodness it wasn't Randy
I forget
Quaid.
the Randy. I don't know why I was thinking Randy
With the
Quaid.
beer, I
Dennis
was
Quaid.
like,
Gotta use the shitter. Dennis Quaid.
This dude. So this, I do agree with this. This dude's just a horn dog. He's
Yeah.
just looking to
Bob
get.
guy.
What's
they're-
her name?
um,
Now
PJ,
you got me.
PJ Souls is the actress.
Yeah, the actress, but I don't know her character's name. Annie,
No,
No.
Annie, Nancy.
Got me. You got me on that.
It is Annie.
I'm drawing a
No,
blank.
it was
No,
Annie.
Annie.
Well, who's
Lori.
Nancy?
She's,
That's the Nancy Loomis.
Nancy
I'm
Loomis
thinking
played
the actor
Annie.
Played
God.
Annie.
Come on, man! Somebody look that up. That's terrible. We're just sitting here now.
I've been
Somebody's got to
thinking
look that
about
we're
up.
huge Halloween fans, folks.
Oh my God, we're blowing that one.
Hey,
What?
PJ Souls went
PJ
on to
Souls.
Stripes after this.
She did Stripes, yeah.
and
did
then
some
she was
other
in Rock
things.
and Roll High School
Yep.
with the Ramones.
Yep.
Still does conventions and whatnot.
I like
So,
that they all do conventions.
yeah, absolutely.
Every now and then,
Linda.
Linda.
We forget Linda.
Linda.
Every now and then, you get Jamie Lee Curtis doing a convention too, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that scene between Linda and Bob, that's just there because it's like as soon as they find out that she's not home, she went to go pick up Paul.
Right.
They ran right upstairs, and which I think is funny. Like not even giving a shit, they just have sex in somebody's
Some-
bed.
I know. Throw
Strangers-
off all the clothes
strangers'
and-
Yeah.
house.
Not
right?
sure whose it is. It hasn't happened yet because they've been making out
on
downstairs.
the couch.
And so it's Lori who's calling them and saying, "Oh, you guys over there? I'm watching so and so."
Wonder what the story is with Michael wearing the sheet with Bob's glasses.
I don't know, dude. I think
It's
that.
just fun.
The sheet's fun, but the glasses is a perfect touch.
Well, that's because he came
trying
back in
to-
the room where she was at.
Trying
Didn't
to
want to
pretend
yeah.
he's Bob.
Look like
Bob,
Bob. right.
yeah. Which is it's so weird. Like it's just a weird moment.
What,
He's
him-
all
him
ta-da,
doing that?
ta-da, ta-da. I don't know. Like so, this is your typical teenagers right here in somebody else's house. They're not coming home. Let's go upstairs and fuck.
Pretty much.
So.
It's-
And that's and I get that because there's of the day, and this is pre-80s, like you said, but they always had that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I think it's funny because she was watching the house and she saw the lights go
Well,
off.
now
Right.
she's wondering.
Well,
what's-
she saw the
what's
lights go
up.
off and she
well,
knows who's there.
Well, she knows that her friends
She knows
are
they're
horn
there.
dogs.
Friends
So-
are horn dogs,
Right.
and they're just trying to buff and,
And they're dumping all the responsibilities of the kids onto her. So,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
She's
I'm not sure whose bed that is though. So
I don't know, someone who has a jack-o'-lantern.
Jack-o'-lantern next to it on the.
yeah, it's weird. It's gotta be
Side
mom and
table.
dad's or something, or I don't know,
Let's hope so.
one of the kids.
No, I don't want it to be a kid's bed. That's
I don't know.
terrible.
I'm just saying, man.
It
They
looks
just,
like a. It's not quite a queen size bed,
No.
right?
I don't know, dude. They ran into somebody. It's probably Nancy's.
Probably is.
That's gross. That's so funny though.
It's so dark you can't see
Yeah,
much of
that's
what's
all right.
in the room. But yeah, there is a jack-o'-lantern.
one of the things I do like about the movie is the lighting, because the shadows make your eyes want to look at everything. Also, is he down at the foot of the bed watching them? Maybe that's
Not yet.
is that one of those moments that I keep thinking?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you're right.
What do they call that? What is that called? Not urban legend, but where you think something happens a certain way.
Oh, the Mandela effect.
Yeah. Because I always remember I thought, oh, he's watching them in the bed.
Right.
But then I could never remember if was he really doing that. But then you see his shadow. I don't know where he went. In my universe, he's sitting in that rocking chair across from them, and
So
they don't see him.
So right now, let's see. So somewhere behind these people's homes,
Behind camera, right?
well, behind these people's homes, there's the station wagon's got to be parked with the Judith Myers headstone in it, right?
Or yeah, because he hasn't
Because
brought it in
he
yet.
has to bring it up. That dude's got a busy night.
I forgot about that. I didn't really put that together. True, that's funny.
He could have brought that in after he killed
He could have. He could have.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Or whatever her name is.
Annie?
And Annie's stuffed.
After he killed Annie, I think he
she's
brought the
stuffed
headstone in.
somewhere, right?
Oh.
And I think Annie, so
it's in the closet or something.
we'll know in the moment, though, at the end of the movie, if Annie is in the bed with the jack-o'-lantern next to it, that means it's that bad.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think
that
it
bad.
is.
Okay.
It is like that.
Well, that's a little bit different then. That means that he was a little bit more thought.
You know, what I also
Went
think
into it.
though,
Yeah, it wasn't just a quick.
in order to do that, he's got to make the bed.
Oh, my God.
That's true. The bed is made, isn't it? When
You give me a headache.
Annie's on top of the
You
bed.
just see him like,
Yeah, right.
Smooth
He's
it
like,
out.
I got to make it look good and stuff. So this is...
staging 101 was a class they
Yeah.
taught at the
Well, Michael
sanitarium.
definitely put a lot of effort into his presentation.
He
Yes.
did, yeah. He was good presentation for Halloween, Michael. Good presentation.
Yeah.
It's a weird scene, too, because
It's a good
Bob is a punk.
misdirection.
Yeah.
I like the misdirection. He looks in one closet. Oh, nothing's in here. And
And he looks outside, too, but he's like, hey, what's going on?
you think it's in here. And you're like, oh, okay.
Which is crazy, because that means...
And here comes trouble. Michael is agile, man. At this stage.
Well, I like this because he's really struggling with the arm, but he's not moving his arm a whole lot. Like, he's got him pinned there pretty strongly. The other thing I don't like is he starts lifting him up.
Yeah, but that helps the that helps the is he
Right.
supernatural? Is he
Yeah.
He gives him like
The size of that!
that knife.
A huge knife.
And then this has become
I just heard the flesh, so you didn't hear it go into the wall.
good point.
That's a nitpick, but
You got to get that thing
he's got to get in a stud, right? Behind
either
the
a stud
drywall.
or
yeah, dude, like in
I
order to
don't know
hold
how
up
he's
that
being held
body,
up.
like that is like
Load bearing beam.
I'm knocking everything.
I
over.
know what it
Sorry.
looks like, folks. That's a great shot because he's all tilting his head and looking at
Yeah,
it. Michael's like, look
right.
at my kill. There's just no way that knife holds up that body like that. Carpenter would have been a lot better if he was doing that and then the body fell. Like it just didn't stay up. Yeah, that would have been
Crumbles.
great.
Here we go with
this is
the,
Bob wondering about the whole thing. Okay, come on, where's my beer?
Michael's got to play a little cat and mouse.
Yep. Well, it's can you imagine when you're seeing it with an audience, or when you have seen it with an audience? Everybody's just, especially for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, she's right there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They're screaming through and going, ah.
Don't let him in.
She's like, see anything you like? Which is funny that's nudity, but it's not nudity. Like it immediately gets cut off. Do you notice
Yeah,
that?
it's very.
Yeah, like Carpenter's
It's not gratuitous.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not gratuitous. He's like, okay, we know that she doesn't have a shirt on, but he immediately gets that out of camera
Like
shot.
if this was Friday the 13th, it would have been a
oh
full
yeah, it's-
zoom.
Yeah, dude, zoom right in your face, bouncing all over the
I
place.
think she stands up though, doesn't she?
Yeah, she gets
Do you
to the
see her?
phone.
She gets on the
But do you
phone.
see her naked when she gets
She
up?
puts the shirt on though,
Oh, as she's getting up.
right? But she's like, this shit is not funny anymore.
This is her best part of her character, right? Her acting. There you see a little action there. Yeesh.
So there's a little
the
piano, yeah, piano.
Da-da.
It's like a Jaws theme where it's all done out, done out, as he's walking towards her. The whole.
He's just breathing hard too. He's
And first, Lloyd's like, okay, all right.
guy's been playing tricks on
I
me
got
all
playing
day.
tricks on me, make me freak out and stuff.
It's the best shot of Michael's mask, right? In the whole movie.
Yeah.
That is a big mask too, because if it's on that Nick Castle, he supposedly had a big, long face. That thing is just like all baggy on him.
I wonder if the lights came back on. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because I don't know if she looks out the window here and then looks over at the house and the lights go off again, or are they still off?
And they go on. So now he's.
And they go off. See?
He just had to see where he put the headstone. Oh, here it is.
Where did I?
Oh, he's probably figuring out where everybody's at,
Man,
man.
where did I put that damn thing?
God, with three
What's
bodies.
crazy, dude, is there is. So here's what really amazes me. In the fictional world of Halloween, what if she was like, these kids are my responsibility. I'm not going over there. Like, what if she goes over there, doesn't go over there all night?
That's the thing that makes her such a hero in this.
But what if she doesn't go over there? Then what does Michael do? Does he stay there till the daytime?
No, he
Probably
would have come
creep
over.
He'd
He
creep
would
over.
have
and
given
sneak
her
in.
about an
Really?
hour, and then he would have been all this work for nothing.
I know, dude. That's crazy because he's like, all right.
I mean, he would have kept going and going and going. He would have killed her, Lori. He probably would have went the next day, killed a dog, and lived till the next day, and did more. You know, he would have continued as a serial killer, I would think.
Never really after the kids. He's had multiple opportunities to kill children. So,
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's true.
but is he identifying as a
I've
child?
heard-
I don't know, dude. That's one of those weird things.
I've heard that people describe him as killing what's in his way, but he's kind of not like that in this movie. He's kind of just going after he's focused on a group of girls. Loomis down the street.
Yeah, so Loomis looked over his shoulder and he saw the car parked there, which I thought, how'd you not see it before? But whatever,
No.
So he actually sees the car
Now he
from the
knows.
sanatorium, so he knows he's in the neighborhood.
Smith Grove.
Yeah, it's just which house could he be in?
So now you're getting the feeling as an audience member, like, here comes the savior. Hope he gets there in time. You know.
Right. I do like how she pauses. Like there's a log shot of her. Kids are upstairs.
Here's our blank shot of the stairs. It gets used later at the end.
Yeah, all the scenes of where Michael has been.
I do love that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
And we got a little foreshadowing here, right? Knitting needle.
Yeah. I shot him 6 times. Now, unfortunately, that's what makes her a terrible babysitter right there. She literally left the kids alone in the house. No babysitter would ever do that.
She's got to be really worried about what's going on.
I get it.
Not
and
right.
literally, you're thinking it's just across the street.
I know.
But
I'm
Well,
just
granted,
saying,
it looks like it's a football field away.
It does look like a big street, doesn't it? It's that California street.
Right. You would have said, "Hey, I'm going to run across the street real quick," and then she
Don't
couldn't.
let anyone in.
She couldn't tell him because Tommy would have freaked out because he saw the boogeyman.
Right. And
So
Tommy,
she had to.
planting that in her head has made her like you're ratcheting up the worry. She's not just walking over with the purpose. She's like thinking about it as she's walking.
Right.
So she's definitely has something on her mind, like something's not right. I like that about her character.
Did I read this is the Cunningham house from Happy Days?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think I did hear that. It's so funny.
So at this
I always
point-
forget about that.
At this point, Fonzie's over the garage, and all this is going on, and she's
Hey!
What's going on down there? Henry Winkler was in a Scream, wasn't he? In a Scream
Yeah,
movie?
you're right.
Yeah, got killed. One of the people that get killed. It is really methodical, though, her walk over there, because it's really far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do like it's a build up.
Like it is really
They-
far. The camera
yeah.
stays with her the whole time. I do like that. The door's not open.
Because if you were just like, oh, I'm gonna go walk over and see my friends, and you'd just be do, you just walk over. But she's doing that long,
Yeah.
looking around.
Well, she did shout, so now it's on.
so now Michael knows she's
Michael
there.
knows she's there. Yeah, so that's what's fucked up.
There's our
So
third pumpkin.
Is there the third pumpkin that got carved?
Got the one by
Yeah,
the bed.
We got the one that got squished. Tommy's pumpkin.
no, what about theirs?
Carved one is probably this one, the one they
Yeah,
carved,
it could
carved
be.
in the house.
Well, I don't know if we're going to see that one later, though. Are we going to see that one?
I don't know. Like in Tommy's house, you mean?
Yeah, like when they go back to the house,
Yeah,
we're
I
going
don't
to see a
remember. We'll
pumpkin
have to
in the
look
house.
and see if
anymore?
we see a pumpkin.
Oh, so she's literally going to get in through the.
French door.
There's a little
French
foreshadowing too.
But that door wasn't open because Bob closed it.
Right.
Oh,
So
he must have
Well,
went
Michael
out.
doesn't wanna
Maybe he
get
had the
too
tombstone out
rough.
back.
I was going to say he went to get the tombstone.
Your arms are full. You have to kind of leave it cracked so when you can get back in with it.
But he had to take Bob off the.
Yeah, you had to take Bob down. That's right.
Uncork him from the wall.
Bob is for the rope, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that Bob was the rope?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
he swings
because
down.
he swings down. Not sure what that means. That was great. Did you see that?
the door.
Yeah, like she almost opened it. You know, audiences were losing their shit.
Don't go
Yeah,
in
don't
there.
go in there. And then she doesn't go in there, so you know they're like a lot better.
Have we three of us ever watched this together?
At a theater?
No, at all.
Oh, at all? No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think we've ever watched
think we
it
have.
together.
It's
Isn't that
always
weird?
just one of those things to talk about.
Yeah. You and I.
Well,
saw
if
it in
this is
theater, but-
you and I saw it in theaters quite a bit, but if this works out, then maybe we could do more things
Oh,
like this.
absolutely.
I mean, I think this would be great if we could do that. So,
Let's see if it works.
but subsequently, the other Halloweens that follow in the series go down.
Exponentially? After?
No, I don't even know. They go down this whole supernatural Udo Kier like
Well, they don't.
road of
There's a couple different timelines they sprout. And
right, but we're talking. So this comes out in 77. The other
Eight,
one's in 81. Then you get like 84 is the 3, and everybody doesn't.
Oh
They-
yeah,
they don't
part
grab
3,
that.
Right.
Or then I think 84, 85 is part 4, the return.
The later '80s stuff.
Yeah, and then after that, then it's just with that kid,
Well, they tried to do
his
resurrection.
little
and
niece.
H-
Well, I'm just saying his little niece,
and yeah,
and that's all the supernatural stuff where
Oh
he's
yeah.
from a cult.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think like H2O and those guys ignore
They do.
4, 5, and
That
6,
ignores.
and they just go back to
There's a
this.
timeline where you go just from this movie down and over to
Oh my
H2O.
God. Yeah, where's that timeline? Weren't we supposed
I
to look at
know.
that thing? What happened to that thing?
I have to
It's on
put
our
it up
phone
on our-
somewhere.
Put it up on.
Oh my God! But those movies are just with a young Paul Rudd too playing Tommy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
so-
and it's, I always had a hard time with those because the masks never look right.
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 We never finished that discussion of the mask because it
and I
goes
think it was
down the
whoever.
shitter quick.
Yeah. And I think it was
Well,
whoever.
It's funny because I know they make a meme out of this, but like I give you that poster for part 4,
Four.
yeah.
and it's the part 2's mask, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
On the poster.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and it's like
God!
the
On the
Wish
poster,
version of-
but oh my God! Did you say Wish version?
Yeah.
Oh, that mask in that movie is just.
And I think it was due to
Oh yeah,
copyright.
it's the pumpkin.
Yeah.
That
He
is
That is made.
and the pumpkin.
Hospital Corners. Nice job.
So
Mike.
it could be the same
Hospital
room, could be a
corners.
different room. We don't know.
No,
it's
it's,
probably-
it's
it's
the
gotta
same
be.
room. It's
Judith Mize.
So,
That tombstone was probably like 200 pounds.
Yeah, but that's that whole supernatural thing,
Right,
though,
right.
you know.
Right. How could that be done?
Yep.
That's a great. Is this not? This is the.
I think he still has the knife stuffed in him, and then so it's still in his chest.
Oh, is it? I never noticed.
I don't know.
that.
There's something shiny going on,
Linda.
and she's just stuffed in there.
This is
Best shot out of the whole
yeah.
movie right here. I gotta
Yeah.
say, dude, I really do enjoy this for jump scares.
And she backs up
You know,
to the closet or whatever
Yep.
room door.
and then it goes off the rails because there's no way he would have missed her.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody
That's
says
a little
that.
movie magic. there.
Yeah, so like it should have been like she should have turned and
This is
deflected
such-
her.
Between
But
the
man,
music-
you can barely see his face in the dark there.
I couldn't even see it.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
one you
dark.
can with your little $1.99 player here.
Yeah.
He fades right in. Yeah.
I love this shot of him at the top of the
Oh
stairs.
yeah,
right,
Then
right
it's
there. That's a
on.
great shot.
yeah,
It looks a lot better on a better TV than this little monitor. But
yeah. We've seen it enough, so we understand.
here he comes. Jumps over the
It's coming down pretty quick too.
coming over that camera. Yeah, he's definitely moving it.
Yeah, yeah. He's coming down there. That's another shot that I like when he busts his hands through and he opens the door and he
Yeah.
peeks his head around.
Peeks his head through there.
Yeah, dude, that was like,
Like
I got a
their
problem
first-
with that, dude. Like, how did he sneak through the house to get to block with the rake?
Oh, the rake.
He must have been outside.
All right. He could have
He must
just
have went out, left the door open. She
could-
got in.
he could have unlocked the front door and came in.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
thinking. Or he went to the back door because this is a different spot. Yeah, dude, he opens the door
This is,
and he's
when
like,
he steps in,
"Eh."
he's
yeah,
like,
he steps in and he's like staring at her for a second. First of all, that's real right there. Like, he's coming after you. You better do something. That's some good tension build right there, man. He just ran the
Yeah.
fuck up out of there.
And then we get into our final sequence coming up, right? Pretty much.
Yeah,
Him
but here's the
chasing
shitty thing
her.
about it. Didn't she go to the neighbor's house?
Oh, I
She starts
know.
screaming help and stuff.
I get
The light
mad every
goes
time I
on
see
and then
that.
the light
But you're
goes off.
like,
They turn on and
it's,
turn off.
it's Halloween night, kid. People are fooling around. It's time for jokes. It's time for people screaming and going up and down the road. You know,
And they're like, oh, these kids.
nowadays people just filming on their phone. There's a crazy girl outside my house.
I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight.
That's why I love that beginning, dude. Oh my god, that is my favorite beginning.
Well, if we're doing this next year, we'll do 2.
Oh my god, because that beginning is just I've been trying to do that. You know what death is. Carpenter fell in love with the synthesizer for that movie, man. Oh my god.
Now she's got the hurt hand from bashing
Well,
the
the
window.
arm, yeah,
Oh, and the arm getting
it's all on the
stabbed.
left though, because she got stabbed in the left, and she broke the door with the left.
That's, yeah, I forgot about the shot.
Is he
Him
coming
walking.
after her?
He should be. It keeps intercutting of him walking across the street.
And that's the thing that
He's
freaks
over
people
there,
out
yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
just slow and methodical and he's not running.
When
It's not
did
running.
you guys hear? So here's the thing, I can't remember, but
Good tension.
There's
here
this,
with
yep.
Tommy.
what's going on? Open the goddamn door! He's like, what's going on? Open the goddamn door!
That's a great shot. He's about what 30 feet away.
Yeah, dude, he crossed the street at that point.
He's coming up to the sidewalk. He's probably like up at the
What's going on? Is it the boogeyman? Shut the fuck up, kid! Like,
go upstairs.
he's asking the wrong questions.
But
Good on her for killing the lights.
Did
Yeah.
he have this house scoped out already? Because the door's open, right?
Yeah, he must have came over and did something with the door.
Yeah,
'cause
well,
you're
he
right,
could
it
have
is
he
open.
could have easily, like when Lori was crossing the street, he could have been coming the other way.
Yeah, I've never thought about all this back stuff when
Yeah,
I
I
watch
know,
this
right?
movie. But when we
He's
talk
a
about
planner. He's a planner.
He is methodical when he does his stuff. Although his aim is for shit right here.
it was dark.
It's dark.
Because it's like,
Look,
I think it's funny when he
he's
comes
eating
out.
dogs all day.
And he missed again.
He's all,
She got
Ugh.
him in the neck.
I like this.
I like the drop.
Boop.
Crumples to the ground.
She sees him back there, though.
There's another shot from the end. Well, without her in it.
Right.
Yeah.
That
She
is-
sees him back there. Like, doesn't she have the knife in her hand?
yeah, everyone's like, just kill him, chop his head
Yeah,
off.
I know.
something.
They would
Yeah, but
do
if
that
you're not a
nowadays.
murderer, it's usually hard for people to do.
Yeah, that's modern audiences talking about that, and not being in the situation, because you're right.
She thinks he's dead because
Yeah.
the stab in the neck, right?
Right. Well, like, again, the whole is he supernatural? Is he not supernatural? Because I don't think most of your killers up to this point, Texas Chainsaw Massacre notwithstanding, because that dude was just, that dude's crazy, but
It's just nuts.
like you didn't get a lot of where killers, like, they kept coming back, they kept coming back, they kept coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this really is a start of, I forgot that he ran into the sheriff again. He's like, I saw the car. He's here. What are you talking about? I saw the car 2
I
blocks
think
over.
he would call, like, let's get a bunch of, uniforms down here. Some
Well, that's
cop
what he's
cars.
doing. He's
You
like,
gonna round
okay,
them up?
I'll go. Here's what I'm going to go do that.
Round them up.
And it's important to note that it's not, the car was not parked in front of the house. The car was
Down
a
the
block
street
over.
over.
It was down the street. Yeah.
It
So
means he had to huff that tombstone all the way blocks
I know.
away.
I don't know. Let's just assume he rolled the car up in the backyard, took the
I will.
tombstone out,
Parked a
Parked
wheelie
block.
cart.
parked
from,
it over
Yeah.
somewhere else.
from the hardware store.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
it
one
wasn't
of those
listed.
dollies.
It wasn't Dolly wasn't
Walking by
listed.
everybody's house.
They're like, oh, he's dressed for Halloween. What is he doing? It's a prank.
Oh, he's got
You can just see him like junk up at each stair. Junk.
he's got one of those foam tombstones.
Tombstones.
Yeah, that's
This
it.
dude, this kid, this is great. He's like, you can't kill the boogeyman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look.
Great shot. And he cut to him. Or rack. Is it a rack focus?
Yeah, looks like it might be.
Yeah, I love that little.
Like, that is amazing where she's there to like,
It's just a great.
that kid's all, what the fuck? Can't kill the boogeyman. Assuming he was that slow, like
Smart, making it look
yeah,
like she left
had
the
to make it
room.
look like she
Oh,
went
I
out the
never
room.
thought of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
She's making way too much noise though, dog.
I know.
It's a
Wicker.
quiet house.
Oh, with the all
Yeah.
the hangers and
yeah,
things.
dude, it's a quiet house. It took him too long to get in that room.
Yeah, he doesn't have this music You know, he's not hearing it to obscure all the sound
Right,
effects,
he's not hearing all
It's just hearing rattling.
rattling
that.
doors.
He knows exactly where she's at. He didn't even go look out those
No.
doors.
Not
You know, that
like-
was Carper saying we got to have those doors open because of the end scene. So
right.
you got to get them open
Yeah.
somehow. Even if he doesn't fall for it, you got to get them open.
That way we don't have to pay to smash them.
Yeah,
And go through
he
some
smashes this thing pretty good.
Yeah.
And this probably is the best shot of him in the mask when the
Yeah.
light comes on.
Yeah.
Looking through.
Yeah, because he pulls on it and the
I
light
love how
comes
it's
on.
kind of, it's a little bit like Psycho, a little bit
Yeah.
with the light at the end.
I
Yeah.
never understood what happened here. Like, I didn't get what she did. Like, I guess she just
She
stabbed him in the eye.
untwines a hanger.
Hanger, wire
Yeah.
hanger, and
And then
stabs him
just
in the
kinda
eye.
does
Is that
a
what she did? Got him in the
Perfect
eye?
shot to the eye. So he's
Like,
busting.
he's got to
in.
know you're there.
I love the light swinging. That's
Yeah.
such a cool.
Yeah. And he fucks it up. Like, I like how it doesn't stay on. They're like, you got to take it off. He gets his hand caught up in it.
She's
You know what I
smart to
mean?
think of that to get that hanger because I don't
Yeah.
know if many people would.
Because
think
coming
that.
in right there, like, that's a good shot right there. See? He's like, oh, turn on again.
flicker, and she gets him good.
She stabs him here, too, I
Oh,
thought.
that's right. Yeah, the upward swing.
I don't know where she got him. Probably the dick.
I don't
She stabbed him
I
somewhere,
always
man.
imagined it like right under
the
the
gut?
ribs
Under the rib cage.
because it sounded thick. It's like
I don't even want to go there.
Oh, she got him somewhere in the midsection. Let's just say that.
The torso.
plus he kind of went. Ugh.
Yeah. Again, though,
Now
at
you
this
know,
point, now you know that he's got some specialties
Right,
about
something's
him that he might come back. You know?
Could you say at this point he died and turned into something?
Supernatural.
Yeah,
No, dude, that would have been like
because what?
that would have been like the first time.
Well, what was earlier that he got killed or whatever?
Stabbed him in the neck. I don't know.
Oh,
Was he
that?
just out, I guess?
Yeah,
Passed out?
because I'm just hypothetically
Yeah, I
saying,
know.
like,
I
what
know.
would make some kind of change in him if you're trying to like plot this out as some kind of supernatural thing? I'd rather not because I like not knowing what it is.
First of all, what made me think the supernatural thing is how this dude, the cardio on this guy's abs, where he can just sit up
I
like
know.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, that's not human.
Never in my life have I been able to accomplish that.
I do love this. How she's like, once you go downstairs, once you go to the Martins
Yeah,
or
it's-
whatever.
You could
And
tell
it's funny because they're all calm here, but
The
when
framing
the
is
kids,
just great.
you know,
The
Yeah.
frame of the
the
shot.
lighting, the framing.
I don't.
It's
Does he get up right away?
Yeah, just
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he looked over at her. So see, that's supernatural.
yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
not,
weird.
that's like
I
freaky.
love how he was just right there.
Those kids are running for their life. too.
Yeah,
They're
and like
"Ah!"
he's got to know. He's like,
Didn't even have to tell him.
yeah. It's like they didn't have to say, "Hey, guy." He was like,
He's like-
"Mm-hmm."
he's like something's not
Something's
right.
not right.
This out of focus shot is nice. I love how he just does that with his whole body.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Body English on Michael Myers.
I think the
is-
bullets are off on this. I've complained about that for years.
is it 6 or 5 or whatever?
Well, it takes one to shoot him right up there at the top of the stairs. That's what throws it off. So if you
Oh.
count, I think there's 7 shots, which in that revolver you can't have.
Now, this actor has been making the rounds too. Who
Really?
does-
Tony Moran, is that
Yeah.
what that is?
I've seen some-
As
And it's great because it's the only shot you see of his face, and he kind of looks normal. You know,
Oh, the face of Michael Myers?
like he's normal there.
They cut that out of 2. You remember that?
Yeah. And the mask is real pliable.
Yeah.
You see that?
They probably
He's
had
all
a few.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, never mind. I stand corrected. He did shoot him 6 times then. Maybe I thought in the sequel it was more than that, but because in the sequel there's a shot outside the house and you hear the
I think it's a
gunshots and you see
different.
the
I think it's
Different
it's from
angle?
a different angle.
different- Yeah, you don't
So-
hear as many or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what always kind of did it for me. But yeah, it's 6 shots. Was it the Boogeyman? That's a great line too.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that? He's like, as a matter of fact, it was. What the fuck? Dude, like, I'd be like, what?
The fact that they just meet at this end is cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, these people have been coming on this track to come together
Yep.
The whole
the entire
the whole way.
film, right?
And then that's your final shot of the grass. And he doesn't. So I think it's cool that he doesn't react in this. There's a better shot in Halloween 2 where he reacts right away, and I think it's great. You know what I mean? Like he's like, and he runs downstairs and stuff. So it's kind of would be a better reaction instead of him just doing that. Like he's just looking around.
He's like, I don't know what else to do. I've done everything I
Sure,
could.
I can only shoot somebody so many times.
Here's our great empty shots. I always love this kind of ending.
Right, and that was come about by the fact that they needed to add a little more to the end of the movie, and these were just rolling camera before they did anything.
Set up shots or
so
whatever.
they went
Nice,
back in
yeah.
and salvaged all this.
Well, then it goes out. Like it just goes out.
I love revisiting all the scenes of terror in the movie.
You hear him
You
breathing
and
too,
you hear
by the way.
breathing, right?
You hear the breathing.
That was kind of like the first time, maybe. I think maybe Black Christmas maybe did that. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember. I think it did because it had a weird ending where you hear the killer's still around or something. on
Well
the phone
done,
or
cast. Well done.
something. Yeah.
So if you're privileged enough to have seen that at a young age back in the day, it has a greater impact than it does nowadays. I mean, my kids love it, but they're not as, you don't get as scared because you're desensitized with
Right.
all
Well,
the
and it's been watered down over
crap.
the years.
I understand.
you
That's
know.
what I'm saying. Well, yeah, when you got, the modern Michael Myers, that's just, you know what I mean? So this thing's such that slow build.
Everything's
Oh, I wanted to talk about that. The shape,
yes.
Known
So
as the shape. Even in the credits, he's not Michael Myers.
right.
He's
the shape.
He's known as the shape. So I thought that was an amazing little.
name for him.
Yeah, I thought that was really good because I know Jim, when we were young, went. And you probably don't remember it. Jim went down this whole pseudo thing to explain the whole. He's just this entity. He's just this shape, So, and I thought it was the coolest thing to hear my friend explain it to me, in that term, and not make it human. You know what I mean? We didn't even humanize it. Didn't even get a name, so it's just called the shape, which I think it's never brought up. Like they don't call that in the movie. It's never called that.
Right.
But I think that's great that the director's like, no, this is what it is to us, and you guys should do it taking shape.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that is Halloween for Halloween, right,
Yeah,
guys?
hopefully everyone
So-
stuck around and
Yeah.
enjoyed a little Halloween with us.
Yeah, get to watch that with us. Hope you enjoyed your Halloween with
Yeah,
us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you watching and listening, and join us on our channel to check out our other podcast videos on our YouTube channel and Instagram.
It's been a fun October.
Yes,
Yeah, it sure has. Been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun.
So we should say
Happy
Halloween. There you go. So,
All right. See you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.